Hello, everybody, and welcome to.
Welcome to I like
I
that.
gotta make a character. I gotta make a character, and my DM sucks, so it makes like making the character less fun. You know what
Oh,
I
wait,
mean?
wait a minute. I need to change something real quick.
Oh, what was that?
There we go.
Oh no, I'm afraid. Oh no! I totally didn't know what you did. Oh, it could have been worse. You could have just like left him there and like put the X over his face.
Oh, I didn't do that. That was funny.
Yeah, you bastard. All right. Hi everybody. How you all doing? Yeah, so we are
Preparing for chapter 2 of my show.
yeah, my character died again, technically, because you know he was undead prior. Oh, well. Well, so anyways, so yeah, the character died, and I'm sorry if you. I hope this isn't spoilers for anybody. So I have to make a new character, and I came up with like an idea that I wanted to. I actually came up with like I don't know, like what was
There
it?
were a
Four
few
solid plus two halves plus a quarter idea, and like Ollie and I whittled it down to three, and then another PC's
Whittled it to
decisions brought it to two, and then it was kind of a back and forth for a while before it was like one of those. All right, well, yeah, I gotta make an idea that requires a lot of fucking work. Fuck you, Ollie. Did I bring water? I did. Ollie, so go ahead. Why don't you say hi?
Hello. This is for my show. This is for chapter 2. Because we finished chapter 1 with the unfortunate events of Wednesday. And unless anything goes horribly wrong, we're literally going to be doing chapter 2 without a week's break. We'll just be doing it next week. Now, that does depend on how much of this character we can get done, of course.
Well, all I have to say is the fact that we can't see you. I get a little closer to me. Do me a favor. Just come a little bit.
Scoot, just a little scoot.
What's up, Ollie? Yeah. How you doing, man? Hey.
Do you want to know something weird? I actually shaved that beard off.
No!
That emote's no longer accurate. Yeah, I got baby face right now.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird. Well, then I'm glad.
Yeah.
You know what? If you're not gonna have a beard, I'm just saying, get back across the screen. Don't want to see you anymore. And now let's get back on topic, because this is just getting weird. So we're here to make a character, and
you rolled amazing stats.
I rolled really well, actually. I rolled really well.
Like Thorak had really bad stats, if I remember correctly, but this character's got like good stats.
Here we go. Here's the stats that I rolled. So they're on the screen right now. I rolled the 17, 14, 8, 14, 11, 13. And there were like so many things that I could do with that. So many ideas that I could do to make this this character be badass, be awesome. Those are some pretty solid stats. I love the other character concept I came up with, but the problem was it was semi-toe-steppy for a couple of other characters, and maybe wouldn't have fit perfectly into this world. Actually, kind of funny, if you want to know who the other character I almost played was, if you are a member of my Patreon, I just did a podcast about her.
Well, that's very convenient.
So yeah, I literally just did a podcast about her, but that's okay.
I actually like the idea, and it might be like a future thing, maybe.
Well, yeah, her,
like
but I don't know if it would work in Jarviskjir. You know what I mean? So it might have to be a different one. So let's go with the concept I did come up with. The one I wanted to play, the one Ollie and I really were trying to work out, happens to be, spoilers if you were in Discord, an Artificer. The problem is, if you look at the Artificer class that exists in the Unearthed Arcana, which I have right here, I read through it, and I read through it pretty aggressively.
I have a player in one of my games who plays it, and I can tell you. It's lackluster.
Oh, it sucks. It's so bad, and I don't mean. And I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, it's so bad compared to like what we had in 3.5, or the meh thing they made in Pathfinder. I just mean it's bad in general, just within the rules of 5e, not comparing it to other editions. Within the rules of 5e,
the Artificer I have in my Monday game just shoots every turn, and it sometimes does Shield of Faith, like. They tell me, it's like, this character isn't interesting. I'm like, I can't really help. You're a gunman.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what it boils down to is you just spam the same effect over and over again. And actually with this class, more or less, I'd just be throwing like acid at people every round, and it's pretty shit. So Ollie and I decided to redo it. I kind of barely explained to him the way it worked in a different edition with a different world and whatnot, because that
So we're not
edition...
completely redoing the class.
No. We're
kind of just taking what they have here, but changing the magic for something a little more 3.5 and some of the abilities that are just kind of like crap. We're sort of replacing with other D&D abilities almost. Yeah, it's like a hack job.
Exactly.
We're making an ugly. We're making an ugly from like Star Wars. We're just hacking together the parts we want, and it should work in the end.
Well, so this is what I've started working on it for some time now, and you can see this is what I've been doing over in the homebrewery.naturalcrit.com. So I kind of copy and pasted their flavor crap from the original PDF over, as well as like what they do with their hit points and all this stuff. Like all this stuff was fine. I just kept everything identical. There was no reason to change that. And as you can see, like almost everything that's listed here is the same as what was over in the other one. Mm-hmm. So because like Ollie said, this is very much, he's the DM, so he gets to call the shots. He very much said that he wants it to be as close to what they originally had as possible. That's just how he wanted it, and I'm not going to argue with him. So I did argue with him, but I did the best I could for that, right? So the whole idea is with this character that I'm creating, the number of spells they had before was like 4 levels of spells, which doesn't exist in 5e. Like, there is nobody else's... Well, that's not true. There are other classes that get them as archetypes at 3rd level that get it. Except this isn't an archetype. Sure, the spells start at 3rd level, but it's not an archetype. It's the core class. So that breaks the mold for 5e.
Yeah, it just looked a little... We were looking at other classes, and we're like, that just looks weird. That doesn't make much sense. It's a bit... It's like, you're level 20 character, and we just got your 4th level spell. It just seems a little awkward.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just
we're trying not,
especially since the 4th level spells were actually the same spells as 4th level wizard spells. Yeah. So they got them like literally 12 levels ago, and you're like, oh hey guys, look what I can do, and the wizard's like boring, you know. So even at that point, fucking warlocks are casting I think 4 spells per short rest, and they're pumping out 5th level spells doing that. So it's just anyways, moving on. So with this one, I changed it to the 5 level tier that you get from like Rangers and Paladins and stuff, which is more similar to what 3.5 had, which was 6th level tier. And if you actually look at the spells that 3.5 had and the way that you got them, it actually made sense to roll most of them down a level, and it actually kind of like worked out. So let's get into the big changes that we made here and get into what the character concept is, right? So with the idea of this Artificer concept that I built is we kept a lot of things the same. Let's start from the top. I kept a lot of things the same. The Artificer Specialist ability is the same. The magical item analysis is the same. Yeah, it is, because mending becomes a... Tool expertise is the same. Infused magic is where things start to get a little bit different.
That's where things go crazy.
Well, the original idea was that they give you a magic item. Like, at level 2, you get a magic item!
Which always, like, I understand the reasoning is, like, you've been working away every night at it. But it still just kind of seems a little dumb. It's like, oh, you leveled up, and here's my thing to me. And it always was just like, okay, good, but no. Doesn't sit right.
Your level 2 feature is you can use tools a little bit better, and you get a magic item. And it's not even like, oh my god, this is an awesome magic item. It's like, you get a cool magic item, I guess. So, and that's the same at level 5, level 10, level 15, level 20. It was garbage. So what Ollie and I did was we looked to the Forge Cleric, which is why I have it up right here.
Yes.
And looked at the Blessing of a Forge ability they get, which is once per long rest, you can give +1 AC to armor or +1 attack and damage rolls to a weapon that is currently non-magical. And that's important. It only applies to non-magic items. You know,
the mundane.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about the it being too powerful or whatever. So because you're not like beefing things up. So it's a 2nd level ability. It does that exactly what the cleric the cleric class does. But it also allows, how did I phrase it here? If a different item was chosen, the effect may be chosen from the list below. There's lots of typos or whatever grammar shit, but that can all be fixed
We'll
later.
go over it. I'll make Neil go over it.
There you go.
That's what we'll do.
The uni nerd. This list is ever expanding as you gain levels and may not be limited to the suggestions written. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish the long rest. So more or less, like you can get +1 to a weapon, +1 to armor, or a bag of holding, or a cap of water. But more or less, you for one day you have a magic item that's not terribly broken. And then as you go up in levels, you have more options. So instead of at 20th level, you have 5 different items. At 20th level, you have many options for one item, which is in some ways much more powerful, because you could be like, today I need boots of striding and springing, but tomorrow I need a retained or haversack. So it adds versatility, but it's still only one item. All right, so
and they're only temporary as well, which is the real kicker.
Yep, and then I threw a little asterisk at the bottom there saying, well, some of these effects seem to only work on obvious objects. It's truly up to the DM to decide what can be affected by which effect. By which effect. So more or less like a cap of water breathing, you can talk to your DM and he could be perfectly fine with gloves of water breathing, because you go like this when you breathe. I don't know, it doesn't matter, but just talk to your DM about it. Moving on. Spells. They no longer work off of spells. We actually change it to be very, very 3.5 in this. They're working off the old 3.5
One of the only times Scott's gone off about 3.5 and I was like, that sounds good.
Fuck you. You're totally going to love it when we teach it to you. Actually, tomorrow's my birthday. Maybe I should just force you to hang out with me and learn 3.5 for my birthday. So anyways, so like, it's my birthday. You're going to learn nerd stuff.
You've got to play what I want to play.
That's right. We'll stream it. We'll stream you going, why?
Are we in like recess right now? What is this?
Yeah, apparently. All right. So this is unlike any other MaC I've ever done. So
is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't. Probably a very bad thing. So with the infusions, the way that it works is starting at 2nd level, you gain these infusions. So instead of 3rd, 2nd, just like a ranger or paladin. And the way infusions work is it's intelligence-based spell casting and da-da-da-da-da. It works off of a formula book, which is kind of taken from the Pathfinder way of doing things. So think like a wizard. You have a wizard book of like the formulas that you know, or infusions that you know.
Yeah.
The way that you prepare them, it actually works kind of like a wizard in the sense that, okay, you have so many of them, the number that you prepare is based off of intelligence modifier plus your, yay. Okay, what can you do with these things, with these infusions? How do they work? So the whole idea is that the infusions are generally speak. So there's different casting times for them. So some infusions are just an action to cast, same as you would any other spell that exists, right? So like if you were to do their equivalent of, say, I don't know, mending or not mending. What other examples? It doesn't matter. They have some spells that are the same exact thing as what wizards or clerics do, right? And so they cast it as a standard action. But some of their infusions, like their more unique abilities, are much longer casting times. So let's give an example of an infusion ability, because we're kind of copying and pasting these over and rewriting them to the newer effect. These are the infusions that you find in 3.5 Artificers, right? So one example of something that they have but other classes do not have. Here's an example: light. Casting light is only a standard action. Yay! That's right, you use the 1st level slot to cast a cantrip. Sucks to be you, buddy. You're not a primary caster. You don't get cantrips. So how about something like, let's say, skill enhancement? What is skill enhancement? This right here says it takes a round. Ollie and I are reflavoring it to it takes a minute. And the whole idea of what skill enhancement does when we reflavor it to this game is much like, say, the boots of the elven kind that exists in the game. They give you advantage for whenever you're making stealthy checks to not be heard. Not to not be seen, but to specifically not be heard. You have advantage on those checks. I can use this infusion to put it on, say, somebody's cloak. You have advantage on stealthy checks to not be seen, or put it on somebody's boots. Or put it on somebody's gloves. You have advantage on swimming checks when swimming through water.
Gather your party before venturing forth.
Nice. Isn't it nice that you get that reference now?
Yeah, I guess.
So the whole idea is like, I have these other abilities that take a whole minute for me to cast them.
They're far more utility abilities that take longer. They're less designed for in combat. They're outside of combat. You're helping others. right? That's the whole core of the class.
Yeah. Oh man, it is so cool how it adds so much more to the idea of what you can do to beef up your characters, right? But here's a big thing that you have to know is that these infusion specific things, infusions can't be cast on people. Here's a huge limiting factor. So yes, most of them are going to have a minute casting time, which means you don't generally do them in combat. Don't generally, though I've seen it done before in older editions, and those are some seriously interesting rounds where the entire party is like, keep them off the Artificer!
No, yeah, I was exactly. You know that situation's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah,
and it might happen. Who knows?
Thank you for the bits, Midori. It is my birthday.
Bits.
Birthday bits. It's my birthday actually
didn't know that
in
was a
14
thing.
minutes in Rick's time, which is hilarious. Because I want Rick to sing to me.
It's your birthday in an hour 15.
Yeah, for you. Yeah.
Maybe before the end of the stream. Who knows?
For me, it'll happen during our stream tonight. So anyways, but they cannot be cast on people. None of these spells can be cast on people. They can only be cast on objects or constructs, for that matter. So one of the things that
no matter what they tell you, they're not people.
oh, so one of the things that you have to know is, like, let's say for instance there is the option here, Shield of Faith. Shield of Faith, generally you would cast it on a person as a cleric, right? Instead, what you would actually do is you would cast Shield of Faith on, say, somebody's armor or their shield or their helmet or some object that they're carrying.
Smack them on the bum.
This is a twofold thing. One, it's really cool because the shields, because again, it's limited, they can only be on an object, but the cool thing is that, so if somebody's naked, you can't help them. But what's cool is you can then theoretically pass it on to somebody else. I no longer need this ring of Shield of Faith. Put it on my friend instead.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so you can actually pass around stuff like that to like, you get the point. So this is like what we're doing with infusions, how it is that we're trying to make it be a little bit more 3.5 units uniqueness. So whatever, you have infusions, you cast them, a lot of them are a minute long. Some of them are like an action. We didn't do any 1 round ones, or we're not doing any 1 round ones because that's a mechanic that doesn't exist in 5e.
Yeah, that'd be a bit clunky to add that in.
Like 4 round actions or 1 round actions don't exist in 5e, right? But 1 minute spells do. Look at things like, say, mending, right? So 1 minute spells do. So it's not unusual to have that. It's not breaking the feeling of the game. And then focus. I currently have infusions focus. I literally copy and pasted it over from Wizard and changed like 2 words on it. But actually, I think the infusions focus is something I have to go over with Ollie to see exactly how we want it to be. Like, do they have to have mechanics tools to make this work? What do they? To me, it makes sense that they do, but we can kind of go over what that is. Like an Eberron, it would probably just be like a dragon shard or something, right? But moving on. The next ability we gave them, I actually called it Limit Breaker, because so I called it Limit Breaker for now. It's their that name is probably going to change. It's their 4th level feature. What we did was we took the 4th level pre-existing feature of this and we combined it with the 4th and we combined it with the it was just garbage.
Infused magic.
Right? Yeah, we combined it with infused magic, with infusions in general, all that shit. It was just garbage. So we got rid of it entirely, and instead, what we did was we made a whole new feature that could only be used. Actually, unlike the other one, which is once per long rest, you could change out which item you have. This is something that you could only have one of them. But it's once per short rest, you could change what it is. And how often that can be used is depending on ... The wording of it is currently a little fucky. And so Ollie and I have to play test this and we'll really feel, you can see like this power level of this one. I know it's going to change around a little bit as we feel it out in the game and see whether or not it's broken. But because it's so fucky, I'm actually going to explain it to you completely. You can channel your intimate knowledge of magical manipulation not only to non-magical items, but to enhance pre-existing magical items. Starting at 4th level, you gain the ability to improve the effectiveness of almost any non-legendary magic item you spend an amount of time with. It's super important to say non-legendary because legendary items are already really fucking powerful, and by being able to make them more powerful could break the game. So I just right off the bat wanted to say no legendary, and Ollie jumped on agreeing with me with that one. If this item is a weapon or piece of armor, you improve its enhancement bonus by +1. Right there. If you were able to apply that to a legendary item, a +3 item is legendary, then you could have a +4 item. Now, while sure, that doesn't mean anything in 5e compared to older editions, that does still break the game because it doesn't otherwise exist. Right, Ollie?
Yeah, it's still, it just doesn't sit right. You know? Whether or not it's like as much as it matters in older editions, it doesn't make no sense.
Yeah, exactly. So let's keep moving. So so there's gonna be a list of different things that I could do. If the magic item is one that has multiple uses or charges, you increase the number of times it can be used each day by 50%. Round it down. 3 times a day is now 4. 2 times a day is now 3. 1 time a day is fuck off. It's 1 time a day. What do you want? It's already a powerful item, right? If the magic item is an ongoing effect that's provided advantage to a roll, the person wearing may choose to, once per minute, re-roll 1 die rolled, keeping the second result. What does this mean? I'm going to explain how it works and where I got it from in 1 second. It means you roll with advantage, you roll 2d20. Keep the higher of the two. Hold on. You keep the higher of the two, but one of those you can re-roll. Obviously, the lower one, making it either a higher or a lower number, and then you still get to choose which one you want. It's effectively super advantage. Whoa, Delric! Whoa, Delric, where did you get this super advantage from? That's way too powerful. Well, I can tell you that this is a feat that already exists in 5e. I actually have it right here for you, except I don't have... Here we go, Elven Accuracy. Whenever you have advantage on attack roll, you can re-roll one of the dice once. It's a mechanic that already exists in 5e, made by Wizards of the Coast back in April 24th of 2017, right? So
the dates and everything.
Exactly. So because I have it right there, I'm like, okay, this is a mechanic that already exists. I can use this, and it makes it cool. And it's only once per minute, so you can't have me doing this to the boots that I gave to Vale, and he's doing it constantly. It's literally an important roll once per minute. It's not too breaking, right? Mm-hmm. Let's keep going. If an item has a duration, the total duration is expended by 50%. Okay, cool. So if it's a 1 minute item, it's now a minute and a half, whatever. If the item deals damage, it says DOLs or something like that, deals damage, any 1s or 2s on the damage roll may be re-rolled. However, the new result must be kept. Which is always fun, right? That's a really cool feature. I think sorcerers can even have that built in. Was it sorcerers?
I want it's either sorcerers or maybe destruction wizards. It exists.
It exists. Well, also fighters with great
sword. That's where you always see it, you know.
Exactly.
It's fun. It's cool. Yeah, it makes sense.
It's not like breaking.
Supercharging the wand, you know.
If an item has an ability or effect that falls into multiple categories described above, you must choose which effect you want to apply at the time of enhancement. So you can't be like, oh, no. My ability is all of those. I'm going to enhance it in every way. That is super powerful. So it's just like a little caveat I throw it in there. And I actually technically had one more effect. So Ollie agreed with everything I did here. There's one that I was feeling a little about, and he completely agreed with me and he just called the shot, cut it out, because I was like on the fence and he just cut it out, and that was something to do with like casting time and whatever. So he was just like, no, there's no mechanic for this, just remove it. This ability is applied over the course of 30 minutes during a short rest.
As you described in your original idea, while eating a bologna sandwich, you're just like looking at someone's boots, souping them up, you know?
Yeah, it's
makes sense.
It's like, oh, let me see those for a second. So and it may not be used again until you receive another short or long rest. So the whole idea is that the reason why I got 30 minutes over the course of 30 minutes during a short rest, I know for a fact that's the way that it works for monks. 30 minutes during a short rest. I know for a fact it works for another class too. I just couldn't remember the other example. So that's where the whole 30 minutes during a short rest came from. So you can theoretically change out which item this affects throughout the day, but only one item at a time. So it's, again, very powerful because it can change out. Because that makes you... This is where I get cringeworthy about this. Where it says... if the magic item is one that has multiple uses or charges, increase the number of times that can be used each day by 50%. If every short rest you could change out which item that affects, that could theoretically be, let's say 3 short rests in a day, have 4 in total, because long rest and short rest, whatever, 4 different extra casting of spells that don't go against your normal limit. That could be breaking, and we'll feel it out as we go. Moving on, ability score improvements at the normal times. Superior attunement. I actually thought this was a very lackluster feature and haven't talked to Ollie about this yet, so we'll talk about this in a moment. But more or less, at 5th level, you can now link up to 4 items attune. At 15th level, 5 items. At 20th level, you actually get a 6th item you can attach here. At 20th level, it's super powerful what it does, but whatever. My opinion of this is it's actually kind of boring. My original idea before I came up with this feature that we're currently called Limits Breaker was that, oh, you have superior attunements. You can attune to multiple items. Or if you attune to an item, you can attune to that same item twice, and it gives you these whole limit breaker ideas that I came up with originally. Because when I first came up with them, that's what I came up with it for. Let's improve superior attunements. It's superior in two ways, either more items or less items better. But because we couldn't come up with a better 4th level feature, that's why I did the limit breaker one. I bring this to you, chat, whether this be on Twitch or later on YouTube. If you have an idea that you think is better to replace my limit breaker 4th level ability, so I could actually tier that down to this 5th level and higher ability for something like that, I would prefer that. But I am currently at a loss of ideas.
For now,
this is what we're doing.
superior attunement works for now. Because bear in mind, the plan is that this class is working next Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly.
We have a lot of time to build on it in the future if things don't work.
It's a new chapter. Let's do a different character. So all that stuff. So
which fits perfectly with the world.
And it fits perfectly. Like Ollie loved my idea. So yay. So if you come up with an idea that you think works instead of Limit Breaker, so I can take Limit Breaker and make Superior Attunement effectively that, but only for me, not for anybody else, obviously. Cool. Let me know. But moving on. Underneath that one, this is literally another copy paste. I changed nothing because, Ollie, correct me if I'm wrong, but this actually works really cool. The Mechanical Servant.
Mechanical Servant? It's pretty fun. The only thing that's a little weird is you've been working for it for a while and it just kind of pops into existence. But it's fun. It's cool.
It doesn't entirely just pop into existence for me because of my race, which we're going to get to in a moment. I'm pretty sure you can guess what it is. But so in short, you make an item, you make a construct. So it's a beast, but it has the what the construct.
Large beast, I want to say.
Yeah, it's a large beast with a challenge rating of 2 or less. In my opinion, it should actually not be limited like that. It should be a large or smaller beast.
Becomes what it is.
But it should be a large or smaller beast with a challenge rating of 2 or less. So these are the maximums, but it can go down. So you're not stuck with a horse. If you wanted to, you can have a cat.
The Artificer we have has basically it's a giant dog.
Yep.
A giant robot
there you
dog.
Go. Giant robot
it's
dog.
Adorable. It's died a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
And so it's a construct instead of a beast. It has all these other construct-like features to it. Yay. I like it as it is. Ollie and I are talking about changing up some of the archetype features, which we didn't get into that yet. We had to finish the core first, and we're going to worry about that. One of the archetypes we want to do is like a Tinkerer. In my personal opinion, one of the really cool ones to do would be like an Aegis archetype, where this magical servant then becomes like, I don't remember when you get your next archetypal feature is. When's your next archetype feature? It is 9th level. So if it's 6th level, you get servant at 9th level. I think you should have the ability to more or less have your servant be like a fucking Iron Man suit.
Diva mech suit.
Yeah, like you can actually hop into the thing and wear it. Like stuff like that to me sounds like a really cool idea. So I mean, again, we'll kind of feel that as we go. And then lastly,
there's a couple of future archetypes, but that is future.
Yep. And then the last thing was Soul of the Artifice. This is again, you get 6 items you can attune to instead of 5. Woo! But also you have +1 to all your saving throws per magic item you're attuned to. That's +6 to all your saves. That's broken as fuck. That's like
But
crazy.
you're level 20, right?
But you're level 20, so who cares?
You are a scientist nerd fighting gods. I mean, you need all the help you can get.
Exactly.
My glasses.
So anyways, that was these are the changes we have so far. This is going to continue manipulating. It's a work in motion. Currently,
right now, archetype wise, they'll be the 2 that exist will be mostly the same.
They're garbage, mind you. They're
garbage, but they'll be mostly the same for the start of the stream.
So what
you'll be going in as an alchemist with the mild change that the alchemy is a little limited. You have to talk the exact limits, but.
Well, yeah. So let's talk about what these are, because I thought Alchemist is kind of broken as crap. So one of the more or less as an alchemist, you have to have something called an Alchemist Satchel. It's more or less without this satchel, you can't use your alchemy. If you lose the satchel, you can make a new one for 100 gold. Woo! All right, whatever. So you have the satchel. What can you do? You start off instantly knowing how to make what is it called? Alchemical fire and alchemical acid, and one other item of your choice. You get to choose what that is, and effectively you can do these things infinitely. So what does that mean? Oh, at level 1, you have an Alchemist Fire that does 1d6 damage to everybody in a 5-foot radius. right? They gain dexterity for nothing. That's an important thing to remember, is dexterity for nothing. This eventually becomes an infinite 7d6 burst of fire. Alchemical acid, you have to attack a person. Dexterity for nothing. This eventually becomes an infinite 10d6 acid damage, which is again an incredible amount of damage for infinite, but it is dexterity for nothing. So keep that in mind. Underneath that, you have Healing Drought. Now, Healing Drought is you can infinitely make potions that heal 1d8, eventually goes up to 10d8 at level 3. It's 2d8, which is where we are right now. Eventually goes up to unlimited 10d8 healing potions. There is an important limitation built into this one. A creature can only regain health points from this potion once per long rest. So it's not like I can infinitely heal, say, Vale or Gilwyn or something like that, or Caitlyn. I can't infinitely heal any of them. But I could theoretically walk into a war-torn village and heal every single solitary person there. Like literally every fighter on a battlefield. Every fighter on a battlefield, they're like, oh, one for you, and one for you, and one for you, and one for you, and do that infinitely, which is like insanely broken. So moving on. And then it kind of goes from there, other infinite things. I didn't like the infiniteness of it.
Me neither, honestly.
I didn't like the mechanic of it in general. It just straight up needs to be fixed. And I don't mean the big fix that Ollie and I are going to do. I mean like the little fix of like just it's
everything
too
needs
clunky now. Yeah.
But that's again, we'll probably be walking in with mild tweaks, and then we'll do more tweaks in the future, right?
Now, Gunsmith was the only one in here that was actually okay, but the whole idea with Gunsmith is just simply you are a class that can shoot a gun that you made. It's super boring.
It's a cool gun.
It starts off with like, you do damage, and later on it's you do more damage, or you do damage in a spread, or in a line, or in a burst.
You knock people down. It's cool. But from experience, as I have a Gunsmith Artificer in my Monday game that isn't streamed, it's a little boring. Now, hopefully, Infusions will make it less boring.
Yes.
That is the archetype will stay roughly the same, but literally this would be why it'd be quite interesting, because I'll have that player be using this.
Honestly, Thunder Cannon, but Gunsmith archetype, I would change little to nothing. I would say we're talking balls to the wall, 10% change on Gunsmith.
It will be more fun with Infusions and the other magic things, and we'll be able to say, because I have that other player, and when this is in a semi-functional state, I'll be just like, hey, you're this now, learn it. And we'll have another point of view to see everything from, which will be nice.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, the Infusions, there's a everything else is repeating ourselves. So what race am I going to play? I bet everybody can guess. Go ahead. What race am I going to play?
Yeah, go on.
All right. I'm going to be a gnome. Of course I'm going to be a gnome. How do you be an artificer without being a gnome? So the class is based off of intelligence, so of course I have to go with the +2 intelligence. That's just min-maxing in a smart way. Get it? Okay, yeah. And then also it's just the fact that rock gnomes are a bonus to
tinkerers.
Yeah, I was talking about bonus con. I don't know if you know why. They're tinkerers.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, they're tinkerers. They have the artificer's lore ability. It just goes hand in hand. I mean, they literally are what you would expect it to be when you're doing it. So I'm making a rock gnome artificer. It's a no-brainer. I am going to leave this to chat as well. I have no idea if I want to play like one of the old gray gnomes. The typical, like, I'm a tinkery, inventory, like the kind that you would see in, say, like World of Warcraft kind of gnomes, or if I want to go with like a younger gnome that is
modern day gnome,
like younger prodigy, so on and so forth. I don't know which one I want to do. Actually, I think I have it. Yeah, here's a picture. I think this is a World of Warcraft gnome right here. So here's like an idea for if I were to do the older gnome concept. So give me your opinion on that one. All right.
Well, it's not going to be a Dragonlance gnome. We ain't in Dragonlance, boy.
Yeah, Dragonlance.
We're in Jarviskjir.
Jarviskjir. You can't spell it. You can't pronounce it.
But sure as
you
hell,
can't move diagonally.
Feel it in your heart.
You can't move diagonally. Can't.
No such thing.
Yeah. All right. So no sidestep in this conversation. So,
No, you can go sideways. That's fine.
oh, okay. Sorry.
Anyway,
So
the
yeah, let's get
character.
back to the character. So character B. I barely started it. All I did so far was, because I already knew I was doing this, because Ollie and I have been discussing it for a while, is I applied the attributes on here. We already talked about the attributes that I had rolled. There they are
They're
right here.
good. They're perfect for this character.
Yep. They were, actually, I think I have your, no, nothing's really on the way. So here's the stats of the character. I'm going with an 8 wisdom, and you'll see why when you see the personality for him. It'll just work out. But 8 wisdom, 14 charisma, 14 con and dexterity, 11 strength, and of course the 19 intelligence, because a combination of min-maxing, as well as it just makes sense when you're an inventor to be smart. Like rocking only like a 14 intelligence when you're like an inventor of crazy things is like literally other party members could be smarter than you and should be correcting your inventions, right? Like your math on that's wrong. No, it's not. Yes, it is. And of course I applied the unique class here, Artificer, Con Intelligence, half casting intelligence, blah, 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 blah. So that's literally where I got so far. I haven't gone anywhere beyond this. So,
none of the nice gooey stuff.
Technically, Rock Gnome is what he is. Okay, I do know the alignments I want to play with this character. So this is where we get to the juicy stuff. I already know the alignments I'm going to play with this character. I'm actually going to play True Neutral. Now, it's funny, actually, because I was contemplating, when I whittled it down to 3 concepts, 2 of them were True Neutral. One of them is True Neutral, all about balance. Like, I have done good in this world, and I feel as I can sleep easy about this. However, I've thrown off the balance of things. I need to now commit some acts of evil to, bring the pendulum back to, blah, 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 blah. Like, that was like a basic idea that I was doing. We threw that out. This one is True Neutral in the sense that he's just kind of like, meh. Like, he doesn't care about law versus chaos.
Doesn't give a fuck. Which is very much the gnome, the rock gnome ideology in Jarviskjir. They don't really care.
Oh, there you go. Okay. So they don't really care. They're just kind of like, more or less, like, it's the whole idea of, like, if I was traveling with the party and they were doing questionable things, and somebody's like, but a regime would fall, he'd just kind of be like, yeah, kingdoms rise and fall all the time. The only thing that matters is progress.
Like literally, lore-wise, rock gnomes are known as a little shady to other people because they have, the best example is they have no issue dealing with pirates. One of their biggest cities makes a ton of money off pirates, and they have no issue with it. And they make the pirates behave, and sure. But, other people are like, oh, we won't deal with rock gnomes. They deal with pirates. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Spelled neutral horribly, by the way.
Yeah. Apparently, the first time it was typos, and then it just kind of like kept going. So backgrounds. I actually haven't decided on the backgrounds.
That's a good question. We haven't even talked about it, really.
We have not.
Aside from character idea, but that can go anywhere.
Yeah. So what are we going to do for...
Exactly, Muffin. That's kind of the idea. Like, his science is the most important thing.
I just realized there's no music.
Morality-wise.
Exactly. Thank you, Muffin.
A rock gnome either cares about money or science. Really.
So for backgrounds, one of the first ones that jumps to mind, of course, is like Cloistered Scholar. Because it's like, knowledge, right? But I honestly, I had another idea, and now I can't. Oh, I had a really cool idea, Ollie, that I thought you might like. You know what I just realized, Ollie? We totally didn't tell everybody when the stream was happening, and I promised them 1,000 times I would.
I know. Already, Dean was like, "He didn't tell us."
Yeah. Oh, did he?
That's fine.
Oh, that's funny.
He did.
I just realized. All right. So, anyways, one of the things I was thinking about, what I thought would be really cool, is if I went with either Noble or Waterdavian Noble as a concept, not trying to take like the perks that come with it, just kind of like going with it. And I love the idea that my gnome happens to come from like a really big, well-known gnomish family, and most of the time he just like goes around. It's like when the party walks into an inn and they buy shit rooms, he just like, this is shit, okay. And he stays in the shit rooms. He doesn't care.
So you'd go in the exact opposite of Thorak, who lives in squalor.
Yeah. No. He was perfectly fine with living in the shit rooms with them, because like the whole noble thing would almost never come up. Actually, I imagine being many sessions before it's like, we can't get somewhere, and I'm like, oh yeah, just tell him who I am. And then they'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We didn't realize that was you."
Tell them about the Tink Boy name.
Yeah, and so like they would immediately jump and want to like help me, and the whole party would be like, "What?" I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm see Brun's saying Guild Artisan, which obviously
Guild
is
Artisan almost doesn't make sense. As in something that's going. I mean, it makes sense like mechanics wise, but lore wise. Artificing is very taboo.
Really? Oh, please explain the basics.
Basically, the only artificers that exist so far, really, their power is being almost in a warlocky way, but it's being leached from either the abyss or more likely the Shadowfell or the Void. They instead of like borrowing magic or being given to them, they're literally stealing little tiny chunks, little tiny bits. The Artificer I have in my Monday game didn't come up for a long time until literally a couple of weeks ago. Someone was like, "Why are you carrying around a shard of the Shadowfell?" And now people don't trust her. That kind of thing is art, which is why the gnomes don't care, because they don't really care about experimenting in such ways. But other people, not only is it new and modern. This is definitely much the kind of setting where a lot of artificers come from almost cults. Not quite cults. They wouldn't call themselves cults. It'd be like kind of like underground science clubs. But yeah, they're, you know, a keen eye would notice similarities between the circles an artificer is drawing in the ground and maybe a fanatic warlock or something, you know?
Alrighty. So, Ollie once again tricking me into being a character that's going to be hated by people for some reason.
No, because people
once again, Ollie,
people don't know that is the thing. The other artificer has been walking around, and that's not come up until literally like an angel looked
You're
at the gun.
You're a bastard, Oliver.
Bastard, Ollie.
Bastard.
But that's just something that is like if you made a thunder cannon, the thunder cannon she has is powered by a little shard that has like Shadowfell energy in it, right? It's that kind of stuff is what powers your magic, as well as incredible intelligence and being able to see between the lines and stuff like that, you know?
Thank you, everybody, for the bits. Raul, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that for the 3rd month in a row. Thank you. Very much appreciated.
But yeah, this isn't something that's known in the world because artificing and technology, Arcana tech, as it's actually called in the world, is so new. The Rock Gnomes have been doing it for longer, but they keep themselves to themselves, and when they aren't trusted. You know, you could go and find these kind of very nicely made weapons which have all this kind of secret technology in it, and they wouldn't tell you it's dark magic or anything like that. They wouldn't even consider it because they don't see it that way, right?
Yeah. Oh, Clan Crafter. I gotta look at the one that he was. Gotta look at Clan Crafter as well, because that might be a little bit different.
So Guild Artisan would make sense, but you'd have to be from a very rock gnome guild.
Respect this, as we respect the Clan Crafter, no esteem. You always have free room and board in any place for shield dwarves and gold dwarves. No, that doesn't work, because I'm not a dwarf, right? Okay.
Well, we could change that, but
yeah, of course, but still, meh. All right, so let's go over the ideas that I had. So let's put away Noble for a second and look at the non-Noble ideas and go back to them. Cloistered Scholar, so access to libraries, yay. So Cloistered Scholar, because it's a new chapter, Raul, and so we're having a new character. We're having a new character and a new chapter.
New character for chapter 2.
It's the only reason.
Jarviskjir.
Only reason. Let's see, the free library access. I mean, honestly, there's not free library access. This is actually a really cool one in Faerun because of places like you know what it's called? What the hell's it called?
I don't know what it's fucking called.
I can't remember what it's called. You know what I'm talking about. So, Brunchin or somebody will correct me. I can't think of the name.
You can go up to a big fancy library and they let you in, and you can look at
Candlekeep. Thank you, Brunchin. Candlekeep. Because the place is like Candlekeep. All right. So, anyways, that does no good. Inheritor, survival plus another gaming set or musical instrument, language of your choice. Your inheritance. Choose a randomly determined inheritance among the possibilities. Blah 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 blah. So, like, I get an inheritance, and there's a secret or whatever
which could be cool, you know. But again, it's one of those ones you kind of want to build from that.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little
It would really have to like play up to something in the end, but I feel like inheritance for this concept, not for all concepts. Like I love inheritance for other characters.
It's a cool idea.
For this concept, I feel like I would prefer noble than my parents is dead. All right, so we're gonna get rid of that one. All right, City Watch. Did I click
City
that by
Watch's
accident?
ability is really cool.
Oh, because it said Inquisitor, I think.
There is an Inquisitor.
Or investigator. It said investigator. That's why. So I clicked it. That's why. So it's City Watch.
Watch's eye ability to City Watch is very cool.
Yeah, I mean it's nifty. You're dealing with lawbreakers. You can easily find a local outpost, and that does not make sense for this guy. I mean, because when the gnomes deal with shady people, they do so legally in their own country, so it doesn't make sense. All right, let's go to Sage. Arcana and History makes sense. 2 languages makes sense. A bunch of crap makes sense. Research, or when attempting to recall a piece of lore, if you do not know the information, you know where, blah, blah, blah. This all makes sense. Sage just straight up works. All right. Noble. History and Persuasion, I'm fine with. Gaming, set language, sure. All that crap, yay. Position of privilege. Thanks to your noble birth, people are inclined to think the best of you. You are welcome in high society, and people assume you have the right to be wherever you are. Common folk and merchants.
It's kind of ironically similar to Far Traveler.
Oh, it is. Yeah. That was. I think that was their intention, right?
I know. It's just funny if you think about it.
Yeah. So anyways, accommodate you, blah, 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 blah. So the whole idea is that you can just secure an audience. The whole idea is like most of the time, I actually ignore this feature. I pretend like it doesn't exist. I don't want it. But then when I do, when I need it, bam, it's there.
When you need it, you have the powerful name.
Yeah. It's funny because I told myself the next noble I play is going to be a retainer. Noble, variant feature retainer. And then and then here I am thinking of... And then there's the Waterdavian noble, which is kept in style.
What do they have?
So again, history and persuasion, which is the same. Gaming type or musical instrument, language of choice, all that's the same. The equipment's even almost the same. While you were in Waterdeep, but more or less we just choose somewhere
We just choose a
else.
place.
Yeah, or elsewhere in the north, your house sees you to your everyday needs. This is kind of the lame part about this one is that it's supposed to be regional, which is lame. So more or less Odette effectively had this.
I was going to say that's what Odette had.
Yeah, but it was wherever her house had influence. Yeah.
But is it?
Your name and signet are sufficient to cover most of your expenses. Inns, taverns, feast halls are frequent or glad to record you, blah, 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 blah.
But it doesn't fit with the idea of your character not really flaunting that he's a noble.
Yeah, and we intend
having
to
some
travel.
little squire going around paying for everything.
This worked if we were still staying in like the whole haughty elf area and you wanted this as a background in the elven region, but we're actually going to be doing more traveling around the world now, I believe.
Exactly.
So it brings us back to Sage, which is logical, and Noble, which is fun. Okay. Anything else that
Look, let me have a little look-see-loo.
that tickles your fanny? I'm gonna look at Earthspur Minor for shits and giggles.
I mean, you could go. Charlatan could be fun. But that's not the idea you have currently. I'm just thinking of like fun ideas that would work with this character if it was a different character, right?
Yeah.
Because the rules for Charlatan are fun.
I mean, you could do the whole urchin, like I have no parents. But
Smuggler.
Tickle Belly Nomad. I'm gonna have to look up Tickle Belly Nomad just because it says Tickle Belly.
Smuggler's pretty cool.
Spy could be interesting.
Hillsfar Smuggler.
Hillsfar Smuggler. I mean, I don't
Guess
see
what?
myself as a smuggler, but okay.
I know. I'm just looking.
Let's look at these. So Urchin,
Ooh,
sleight of hand and stealth. Already right off the bat. City Secrets. Let's get rid of Urchin. I don't like it. I don't like the feeling of it. I don't like the abilities of it. Tickle Belly Nomad. Nature, animal handling, herbalism kit. Giants.
Difference between aristocrat and noble is its deception performance. I think is the main difference, which could be interesting.
Oh, between aristocrat and what?
Noble is that its skill proficiencies it gives deception and performance.
There's an aristocrat one?
Mulemaster aristocrat.
Mulemaster aristocrat. Oh, I didn't see that one. Okay, cool. So, oops. Give me 1 second. I'm going to...
of the stuff I've made, I don't think anything
nothing.
really works.
I looked at those first.
Diplomat, maybe, but not for the idea you have in mind.
Exactly. No, none of them work. I checked. Don't worry. I looked at that first.
And we could make something, but we're already making something. So what's the point? You know.
All right. So Ticklebell and Nomad. The wilderness is your home. You're comfortable dealing with it. You've always found a place to sleep, recuperate within the wild. The place is secure enough that most threats. However, it doesn't shield or conceal you from scrying. Meh. Lame. Criminal. Deception and stealth. Crowbar. Feature criminal contact. I don't like it. Variant spy. Although your capability is not different from you learned, you have official sanctions. Agent of the Crown.
Yeah, that's like the cooler thing about Inquisitor, and I definitely like. I think one of the next serious characters I want to make is an Inquisitor character, because the idea is really cool, but like not for this character.
Dude, Inquisitors again. Inquisitors. I hate to say it. 3.5 Eberron.
I was gonna say if I wasn't gonna play Stalbina next, an Inquisitor of what whichever one is it that Silver Flame.
Yep.
It just seems right to me.
So you actually know how you do Inquisitors best. It's actually not that. It's actually Pathfinder Eberron. Woo! That's an Inquisitor. But anyways, let's keep going. Let's see. This one's called the Hillsfar Smuggler. Perception and stealth, racial forgery kit, lifestyle's modest. Why does it say lifestyle modest? That's random. Where does lifestyle modest come from?
I don't know.
Weird. That's really weird. Features secret passage. You can call on your contacts in the smuggling community to secure secret passage into or out of Hillsfar or wherever you say. For yourself and your adventure companions, no questions asked, no red plume entanglements, because you're calling in a favor. You can be certain that they will be able to...
a little Kieran-y.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, blah. No, it's actually less Kieran, though Kieran can certainly do it because, yeah, I guess they have smugglers too. I was going to say more of Odette in the House of Passage, but definitely I guess Kieran could work too. Let's go back to the...
Hillsfar Merchant. It has 2 features.
I honestly don't think, Raul, that's the... I think that's not true. I think it's like Elemental Evil. Most of them don't have a range.
It's like mentioned, but like... Who cares?
Like the original book didn't do that. Like if you look at Acolyte, they didn't have that. Like that was something that was added later on as a side feature if you wanted to do it. So Mole Master, Deception and Performance, equipment. I suppose if I was having my things fiddle about. Highborn, Mole Master is run by aristocracy. Every other citizens, if there was the priesthood, blah blah blah. Other aristocrats and nobles. Like the connections.
The difference is the
you get the ear. Yeah, so it's more or less you have the ear of different peoples. Yeah.
Hillsfar Merchant has a variant noble knight and variant criminal stuff, which is mildly interesting.
Which one does? I'm sorry.
Hillsfar Merchant.
I mean, honestly, I'll look at that one, but it's still going to be probably the same.
No,
effect.
I'm just like looking through things to see if there's anything.
Insight and persuasion are good skills. The tool proficiencies are nifty because I like the idea of him being able to use that stuff. Factor or trade contact. Trade contact could be cool. Factor. Although you've left day-to-day life of merchants behind, your family has assigned you the services of loyal retainer from a business of factor, husband agent, seafarer, blah, blah, blah. The individual is a commoner who can perform mundane tasks for you, such as making purchases, delivering messages, and running errands. He or she will not fight and will not follow you into obviously dangerous areas such as dungeons, and will leave you frequently endangered or abused. He or she is killed. Your family assigns another one within a few days. This is a very
that's probably the funniest thing about that whole thing.
Yeah, it's like
you just get like more. Remember, Tim, this is a Rock Gnome Artificer character.
Rock Gnome Artificer in Jarviskjir. You and your family have trade. Actually, remember, Tim, I would love for your opinion on things that we went over at the beginning of this. So you definitely want to check out the VOD on YouTube, just because I'd like your opinion. But I will re-mention one other thing while you're here, because I do value your opinion as an experienced DM. You and your family have trade contacts such as caravan masters, shopkeep, sailors, artisans, farmers, blah, 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 blah. I don't like that one as much. And I like the idea of a retainer, but that makes me too obviously important. I like the idea of the subtle importance.
I'm prone to agree. I think the trade contact is a little more interesting.
Yeah.
And again, it could be that kind of, you almost hide it until you need it.
Yeah.
Like, you are from a huge trading family, so you just kind of like, oh, here I am, coin on the table, drop subtle hints, stuff like that. But I don't know. It's entirely up to you. I just thought that one was quite nice.
Yeah. No, it's not that it's bad. I don't think it fits perfect. So again, it comes down to Sage, Arcana,
Sage is
and
the
history.
most perfect.
It's just
but
like
Noble
it
is
fits.
more fun.
Noble gives me a third dimension. So why don't we start
Yeah.
fleshing out the character and seeing which one works? One is history and persuasion. The other one is history and arcana. One is 2 languages. One is 1 language at a gaming set. And then there's the side feature, which we just discussed. Okay, let's get into this. So as an artificer, I'm going to mention that thing to Mimitim that I just said. So Mimitim. So more or less, the 4th level feature I currently have is, it's probably too much to completely cover. So the 4th level feature is more or less like, I can take a magic item that previously exists. I currently call it Limit Breaker, that previously exists, and I can like enhance this magic item to be a little bit better. Like, if it's a +1 item, I can make it +2. Oh, if it has a duration, the duration is 50% longer, blah, 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 blah. That sort of a thing. I can apply it to a magic item. There are limits. You can't do it to legendary magic items, and so therefore not artifacts either. And whatever. So it's a cool, nifty little feature. However, I actually originally came up with the idea of these little effects as part of the Artificer's super attunement is, you have super attunement, you're going to attune to multiple items, many more items. Or you can attune twice to the same item and it has these previously defined effects that I talk about, and you can once again catch in the VOD here, that you get that instead. The problem is if I take that feature and I do the whole super attunement ability as what I just described as, attune twice to an item, you get these effects instead. That takes, I have to remove my current Limit Breaker ability to do this to any one item that a friend of mine is wearing. So what do I replace that with? What is a good 4th level Artificer ability? I just have no idea. So give me your opinion on that, I guess. A nifty 4th level Artificer ability. All right. So
character.
Yeah, character.
Fleshing.
So what did we have for the... I think I get 3 skills. 3. Mm-hmm. Arcana, Deception, History, Investigation, Medicine, Nature, Religion, Sleight of Hand. Well, either one of those is going to give me History, so I'm going to ignore that. Right off the bat, I know I need Arcana, so I'm going to get it, and then I'll just change it if I end up getting Sage later on.
Exactly.
So I'm going to take... I'm just going to straight up apply History, because I'm getting it from either one of those. I'm going to choose Arcana from whichever way I get it. So it currently leaves me with, for now, 2. What are other good ones? Investigation is a big one. I like the idea of investigation.
Investigation is really useful.
Yeah, I like the idea of investigating. Let's see, what else? Where am I? And
history would
I already have that.
As a person of no, I'm an idiot.
So not Sleight of Hand.
Nah, Sleight of Hand suits me a little
not religion because he doesn't care. I imagine not nature, because like I see this character as being less about like the natural world and more about progress. Like, nature's nice and everything for reading a book under a tree, but all in all, I spend my time learning about what can be and not what has been. You know what I mean? And so it's like, but aren't you a master of history? Well, of course you have to learn from the past. You don't have to learn from the world around you. And then he finds an inspiration from a snail crawling up a rock. So medicine, I guess, because currently I'm going with an alchemist build, which I'm really not happy with.
Yeah, alchemist until we can make something that just clicks better.
Yeah. So medicine works because of alchemist. Religion doesn't, nature doesn't, unless I have to. Sleight of hand doesn't.
Was deception one that you've not?
Deception, I guess, but why is he good at lying? Like, why is deception an option for Artificer?
I mean, because you're kind of like, the whole idea of Artificer in this book is that they are cunning but kind of assholes, right?
I don't. I feel like my character might be like whereas.
But I don't think that necessarily.
Forik was generally honest because he was just like a lawful good person, right? I kind of say like this person's honest to like honest because he doesn't necessarily realize that there's low wisdom. He doesn't necessarily realize he was supposed to lie. But if he knows he's supposed to lie, certainly he can tell a lie with his +2. But he's not practiced at it.
He's not a liar.
Yeah.
I think medicine makes the most sense out of all of those options.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're stuck with it, right?
Yeah, none of them are perfect. But then
Yeah.
I can't think of what skill would be more perfect.
What's going to be fun is, and it helps to mitigate my low wisdom ability. So what's going to be fun is when we end up choosing one. If we choose Sage, I'm going to need that.
That other one?
Yeah, I'm going to pick something else. Because Noble gives you Persuasion, which I do like. All right.
I honestly think, like, just because it's way more interesting that we should go Noble. It just, as you said, it gives that whole other side. But if you didn't go Noble now, you'd wish you did.
It's true. And the fact that none of the other people are here on the stream means I get to kind of keep that to myself, too. It's actually a legit party secret. Arvine, Dean, and Neil aren't here, you know?
Yeah, they're not going to watch this bloody video.
Well, they were going to, but we forgot to tell them that what time we were doing it. Whoops. Whoopsie. So, yeah, let's go Noble, just for funsies.
Oh.
Funsies.
I like just sent me a nice similar thing to me where to what we're doing, where it's a modified version of the original one after Arcana. The issue with this one right now is it's very different.
Wait, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
We were just given a PDF in Discord that was basically similar to what we're doing, where it's an alternate version of the Artificer to UA that already exists. But the thing is like looking at it for inspiration, it's very different. Like some things are the same, but then some things are incredibly different.
You said it was in Discord?
Well, I was given it in Discord. I don't know if you were given it in Discord.
I'm looking for it. Everybody can see my Discord right now.
Guess you weren't given it on Discord, were you?
What was it, like a secret message sent to you secretly?
Yeah, I okay. Let's send it to him too.
Secret messages sent secretly. I see how it is. Secrets. I'll just move.
But it's like I'm just saying it. Not that you want to look at it right now, but it's irrelevant because again, it's a big change. The only big change we want is the spells. Really, the infused magic. Yeah, it's a good big change, but it's not a complicated change. The infusions are the main change, whereas the archetypes for now are gonna stay mostly the same.
Who designed this?
Does it say?
It says it's an alternate Unearthed Arcana.
Jeff Venecchio.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks like they also hated the idea of the wondrous invention, and so they completely changed it. What's funny is we actually spent a good amount of time looking at other people's options of what.
Yeah, I never saw this one. But again, for inspiration, yeah, there'll be some things that'll kick me, but it's not like
Listen, I'll tell you right now that their alchemy thing, I'm probably gonna read that hard because, fuck yeah, if it's better, like all these, there's so many like I'm looking at this right now, like.
But again, it's irrelevant right now.
Oh, hush, Ollie, I'll be
on the character.
I'm not DMing tonight. I'm just doing this now. I'm just
Exactly.
doing that now. Now we're not DMing tonight. Now we're just doing this.
Let's talk about Artificer after, and you did the opposite. Remember that?
Why are you talking? Why are you talking? Your opinion doesn't matter here.